Hello, Pierre.
Hi,
How are you?
fine, thank you so much.
Well, I am Marlene Corbun, Head Curator of laCollection, and I'm happy to welcome to this podcast Pierre from the artist trio Obvious.
Hi, everyone.
So, Pierre, do you want to introduce yourself and Obvious?
Yes, so I'm one of the three members of Obvious. The two others are a bit around. That's why I'm here today. Obvious is a trio of artists doing art with machine learning algorithm, also called AI. We do so for 5 years now. We started back in the days in 2017 because one of the three members of Obvious, Hugo, is a AI researcher. And because of his skills and his knowledge about AI, we started our career back in the day. A lot of things happened in those 5 years, but to sum up, we basically use AI as a tool to express ourselves and to open a lot of philosophical and technological questions about how AI impact our life and impact our society. And so this is basically what we do at Obvious.
Great, thank you so much. And I'm also really pleased to have this conversation with you today because tomorrow we are launching a drop with you on the theme of art and currency. With laCollection, I've curated with Vanilla Coubé a group show with crypto artists. You're the first group of artists to appear on the platform. And we really wanted to explore how artists are challenging our economical system and are challenging the concept of money. Yes, I wanted then to know more about the drop that you have built for us.
Yeah, so at Obvious, we like to talk about art and science. We use AI algorithm. Hugo is an AI researcher. We are working right now on creating a lab who will do science inside Obvious. So we are very, very connected to science. You can see that in all of our series. You can see that in our NFT drops. You can see that basically in also our collaboration. This is something that deeply matters to us because people tend to oppose art and science. People most of the time say, are you a scientific or are you an artist? And people try to oppose them. And when you study art history, you see that there is a problem by opposing them because in all the art history, science and art have been connected. The reason why Renaissance is because of perspective. The reason why Impressionism was existed is because people were allowed to paint outside thanks to the paint tube of Jan Rand. And you can see a lot of steps that in the art history have made art progress through the tools and through science. And this is something that matters to us. And this is why there is, like, for example, the Vitruvius man in our logo in order to Da Vinci, which is the perfect example of merging science and art. To come back to economy, economy is a subject that we wanted to talk about for a longer time. We are not experts in the subject, so sometimes it can be a bit confusing because it's a really, really deep-rooted science, and sometimes people do not agree, etc. But what we wanted to do is to explain in 5 different concepts how science is deeply inside economy. Usually we talk about economic science. So that's why we wanted to talk about. We want to talk about the different way of how the economy is composed, and that's why we call this series like economy is economy, but an equation. It's because the economy is deeply rooted with those types of equation, and by those creating those 5 different artworks, we explore 5 different types of equation that are for us in economy. It's artistic, of course. It's not like purely scientifically right, but we try to approach that.
Thank you so much. And in this particular piece, also, it's quite interesting because those 5 unique pieces are reflecting new models for our economy. So that's also the values that you wanted to transfer through science and through your algorithm.
Yeah, this is our utopic side. In Obvious, we like sometimes to take like a construct, I don't know the proper English word, but like yeah, a constatation, and then creates from this constatation create an utopia. And with those five different types of artworks, we say that what if the information was perfect? How the economy will react? What if the hand of the economy and the hands of economy was real? How can we see that, and what can it change? And this is what we talk about in this series.
Yes, and it's a great drop, and for us it's a very interesting vision also, because it shows that art is a way to open the views and can help open new debates and maybe change the world. I mean, at least we hope.
What we like to say sometime at Obvious is that our artworks firstly talk to your brain and then to your art, where other people, other artists try to first talk to your heart and then to your brain. We like the fact that when you see an artwork for Obvious, you're a bit confused, you don't understand properly. And then when you read the label, when you read the approach, you feel very connected with the idea and the concept. And I hope also with the visual, but the concept is what matters the most in all our works.
Actually, I wanted to speak more also about your concepts and the way you play with algorithm, because there is a lot of research behind it. For instance, for this drop, you were talking to the American Numismatic Society. So you have this incredible research work with data set, and I wanted to know if you could dig a bit more on how you use AI.
Yeah, so AI is our tool. People sometimes consider AI as numerical cousins. This is 100% science fiction. This is because great book authors created fictions with AI as numerical cousins, but this does not exist. What exists, it's a tool for artists to create. This tool, in this specific series, we used a specific algorithm. There is tons of algorithms who do a lot of different stuff. For this drop, we use a GAN algorithm. A GAN algorithm is an algorithm who generates image based on a lot of images. So it's exactly the same as if I give you right now a book about dinosaur. You just watch 4 or 5 pages, and then you understand the common rules of the dinosaur. It's always the same. And then you can create one. For a human, only few pages are enough. But for an algorithm, you need a lot of images. So that's why the first part of our job is to find a big database. Because we wanted to create antique coins, we wanted to find a big database of antique coins, and the American Numismatic Society have one. And it's an open source database, so we took that database. It's one of the most iconic databases from the numismatic. And from that database, we gathered about 100,000 coins split in different types of aesthetics. And then we run the algorithm to recreate coins. So those coins are not like a medium of them, are not like a mix of them. It's a new coins based on the database. Exactly if right now you draw a dinosaur, the algorithm drew a new coins, and that's what we create. So to come back to our practice, it's not like we push a button and then the algorithm creates. First of all, we need to find a concept, find a message, and find resources. So we did a lot of researches about to know a bit more about numismatic, to know a bit more about the American Numismatic Society, and that takes time. For example, we went to the City Hall of Paris because they also have a big data set of coins, etc. So we did a lot of researches. So once you have all those images on the data set, you need to run the algorithm on this data set. This is not like a linear process. It's not like you have the data set, you press play, and then you have an image. It's like a back and forth with the algorithm that you have. For example, in an algorithm, you have thousands of parameters that you can tweak in order to have a better image. So what we do is we try some settings, run the algorithm, have a feedback. No, it's not good enough. And we change it. So every run took about 24 hours. So it takes time to have feedback from the algorithm. And for example, usually it takes us two months to like make a proper image based on the data set that we created. So it's a back and forth, etc., etc. Then we have the creational part. The creational part is really, really important because our job is to select the images that are the proper one in order to create the series. So once you have do all your research about numismatics, you must remember them when you curate those artworks. And this is something important because if you do not know anything about the movement you're dealing with, you're going to be bad at curating. That's obvious. So you need to do a lot of preparation in the previous phases to be like relevant in the creation phase. This is a big part of our job. And then you have to choose the medium. And maybe we're going to talk a bit more about that, but medium matters. From a JPEG on your computer, you can do basically a lot of stuff. You can do a print, you can do an NFT, you can do a projection, for example. So the base is the JPEG, and then you find a medium, and you try to always fit a medium to the approach. And this is something that also matters. So sorry for being a bit long, but you understand then that it's not like a press play algorithm. It's a process, exactly as the photographer. I like to do this parallel because it's very relevant. The photographer needs to have an eye to choose a subject, then to have a camera which he knows exactly the settings and how to highlight his subject. He needs to curate the photography he took because it took a lot, and then to choose the right paper. So this is the same for us.
Thank you so much, Pernod. I think it's super interesting to get so much insight on how you use AI, and knowing that there is a human eye that is actually controlling the algorithm, and actually knowing that it's not only before you start the process, but it's also during the process.
Yeah.
When you do the selection and the curation. And I think that it will, yes, it's important for our community to have those views. And maybe then we can, you were speaking about the medium, so maybe let's speak about that. So why do you choose NFT as a medium, and how do you think blockchain benefits artists today?
So basically, we were the first French people to create NFTs. We created NFTs in 2018 because we were invited to be on the beta of the Super Rare platform. For us, it was a thrill. Back in the 2017, when Hugo came back to the flat and showcased us those algorithms, it was like our mind were blown by the power of this algorithm and the philosophical questions of creating with AI. But when we discovered NFTs and blockchain art, it was exactly the same, because like digital art have been always like a bit on the sides of art, because of market problem, because of creating problem, because a lot of problems. And for us, we directly saw the interest of that, because I don't know the proper translation, but droit de suite, the rights to
artist
yeah.
research. Yeah.
Those didn't exist in the traditional art world. It exists, but nobody applied them.
Yeah, it's actionable, really. Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the budget to like sue a billionaire from the US who sold an artwork without me. You know, so it's not the way. And it was very important for us. And also, I mean, we are from a generation where a lot of our friends are, to us, artists, but they express themselves with computers, you know. And a lot of those artists were not recognized because in the traditional art world, it was difficult for them to like find a proper place. And NFT
visibility, basically, because it's very hierarchical as well.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, I mean, I do not criticize, it's normal, but like those are like concept artists, all those people who works on like graphical tools on their computer were not considered as artists, and didn't have a place to express themselves as artists and be considered as. And when we saw the Super Rare lineup, when we saw the vibe there, we really saw back in the day like an opportunity for and a new movement being created, and we wanted to be part of it, and we were glad to be part of it. So this is why NFTs really matters to us, and this is why we apply the same process than that I described before, like the processing of creation. But in the end, we choose NFTs instead of working with the traditional wood sculpture as we did for the mask series. So for us, NFTs, traditional prints or sculptures, is a medium. The medium is something that it's really important, but it's, for us, it's less important than the concept that we bring. We like to enlighten some stuff. We like to showcase some message, to showcase some technologies, to showcase some creativity. But the medium needs to serve the approach. It's not like the center core, you know. We don't create NFTs because we want to create NFTs. We create NFTs because we think it's a relevant medium for this approach and this series. And this is, I think, the future of NFTs, a way for artists to express themselves, if in like with a lot of them being like they can choose basically the medium they want, and now they can sell also digital art.
So yeah, you use it when it's relevant for the concept of the artwork that you have behind, but you also hybrid, like you also use other types of mediums. And actually in our project, there is a physical coin next to the NFT. So it's actually an hybrid project. And
yeah, totally.
It's something that you want to keep going.
Yeah. I mean, the coins were perfect. We wanted to create those coins in physical for the longest time. At the moment we saw the visuals, we say, okay, we need to create physical coins with that. We thought it will be easier. It's hell to produce just one coin. I couldn't imagine to be that complicated. We will succeed for sure. But it was far more complicated than I thought. And this is what's funny also, you know, to enter a journey and to discover traditional craftsmanships that know the job for a long time, and who are like a bit surprised by what you do, and you have a discussion with that. This is something that we love at Obvious, is to use to do bridges between the old and the new, between traditional craftsmanships and very high-end technologies, because you never reinvent everything. You always do bridges, and this is, I think, what matters the most is like to enlighten stuff with new, and to come back to the art history with new visions. Like, I mean, we never start with some blank pages.
Actually, it's a question, an important one I had for you on the meaning of your art practice in general, because you always use data from ancient objects and then put them in the present or even in the future. So you have this constant link between the different periods of history.
Yeah, but yeah. I mean, we didn't do any art history, so it's cool to dig inside this art history, and the art history is really, really like rich, and there is very, very like crazy movement, crazy stories to tell in the art history. Also, we like traditional aesthetics. Like the Japanese prints is an aesthetic that we love as hell, and we wanted like people to feel connected to the visuals in order to go deep in the message. Because if we do, sometimes we tried, but if we do like very abstract visuals, then difficult and like hard concepts of science philosophy, it's a bit too much. We like people to feel connected, to have this like familiarity with the visuals in order to like understand the concept and see why those visuals do not look that familiar in the end. So it's like a going back with the artworks that we love. But as I said, sometimes we try to do different stuff and more abstract stuff. And most of the time people like that also, but like in general, we like to focus on the art history to create new things and to like reinvent it.
Yes, and I think that's really important, you know, to show that digital artist and NFT art is in line with art history, because it's something that sometimes is not clear for all the community that maybe is coming from the pure crypto world.
Yeah. Like I say that always, but art with computers do not started in 2021.
Exactly.
I mean, it started basically when the computers were created, and the art with computers is a very dense and long art movement. And we fell at the end of this movement right now, but it will continue and grow and develop. But yeah, remember that digital art exists before NFTs.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Since decennies actually, but
Yeah,
in a way, what's healthy is that I felt like with the boom of the Beeple cell, at least digital art became a bit front in line in the contemporary art segment. A bit
yeah.
before it was more niche, and since that moment, I feel like it's really taking the stage, and that's quite interesting.
To me, it's normal.
Of
It's
course.
normal. And before these people sales, we had a problem of representation. Let me push further in that direction. To me, the art market and the art industry represent the society we are in. People in all history have talked about like a subject of their life and try to express them. And like computers are the centers of our life. We spend hours and hours and hours behind our screens, and the digital is basically everywhere. It was very strange that it was not in art. Like, I mean, why? You know, when we saw in the 80s, 90s graffitis in the streets, then it was in galleries. Why the computer were not? And it was because of this copy paste problem, problem of like authenticity of markets. I think also. So this the NFT and the blockchain opened, I would say, like a technological lock that were there. I mean, how to track numerical property. Numerical property did not exist before, and because of the blockchain and because of NFT, it exists, and that's why we have this crazy phenomena of NFTs. And I think that's why digital arts have now the front of the stage, and I think it will have it for quite a bit.
I agree with you. I feel like we are just at the beginning. But also going back to the blockchain, I wanted to ask you, do you feel like as an artist, you're becoming more empowered with the blockchain? Because it's actually one of the key elements, right? As you say, that you get artistry right, that you can track the transactions on your works. You can actually track your works, which is not possible in the physical world. But there is this debate as well. Is it really giving the power back to artists, or do you also feel like the bad market practice are
I mean,
around and ready to be involved?
yeah. So of course we felt empowered. I mean, as I said, we cannot track our artworks basically everywhere. We can see our collectors. We can like have a good tracking of everything. But I mean, I didn't wait for NFT to be empowered as an artist. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and I don't need a tracking list to be empowered as an artist. What I need is creative ideas, create cool meetings, a bit of money to pay my rent, cool people to work with, etc. So, of course, it's important, but the most important thing is living. Is making new experiences, to be creative, and to have always a cool and philosophical and interesting message. This matters, I think, and matters most than tracking your NFTs. It matters, but in terms of what's empowering me as an artist and empowers my trio, I think that matters more than tracking my artworks.
It's a new tool, but you don't see this as a revolution. That's interesting.
I mean, I saw NFT as a revolution for the digital art market. I saw a revolution for the people who only create with digital art, because those people didn't have anything. I mean, from the art industry before this creation. But for I would say, like classical artists or like artists who are not only NFTs or only digital. It's cool. It's very important, but it's not the center of our brain juice, I would say.
Of course. And also you use other mediums at the blockchain. So you also have
Yeah, yeah,
options
yeah.
that are
We
out
create, yeah,
or off chain,
we
I
create
would say.
sculptures, we create prints, we create canvas, we create a lot of things. And I mean, the medium is something that matters, but the concept matters more. And this is what we try to focus always.
Great. Thank you, Pierre. Well, you were talking about new experiences. So I wanted to know more about your upcoming projects and yes, the one that seemed more exciting to you. You told me about some museums, but also some documentary. So I feel like
Yeah.
a lot is going on for you three.
Yeah.
Can you maybe tell me, yes, the key ones for you that are coming up?
So the Nusam Mayan project is still running. The Nusam Mayan project is a project where we try to recreate the symbol of France, which is Marianne. It's a woman who represents the French Republic. The problem with this symbol is that it was chosen. The woman is chosen by the president on her look or her career, and we think it's a bit a past vision of the woman, and we think that we can create a collaborative movement to create this symbol. So exactly the way we created those coins, we gathered a database of 6,000 women from France, and every woman who wants to participate from France can participate. And that from this big database, we want to recreate a woman that represents France, and it's a participative and collective project. So this is a very important project. Also, as you mentioned, we have a documentary running on our work. So the idea is to explain what I explained to you briefly in a more longer way, and to explain our philosophical and conceptual approach. We are also signing with a French gallery that I cannot reveal today, but I can reveal tomorrow. Problem of like, so we are signing with a gallery, and we want to work on the seven wonders. So basically, the seven wonders that everybody knows do not exist anymore. And every representation that we see from, for example, the Colossus of Rhodes, is like based on text. So what we did is we worked with an historian to find those texts from Plutarch, from Platon, from Herodotus, and we feed those texts to an algorithm to recreate those seven wonders. And then we are making them by a painter to like have a very, very traditional painting who represents the seven wonders. So this is going to be released between November and December in London and Paris. And the last one is I cannot say a lot about that, but as we created the Alpine car last year, we are working on a new collab with another cool brand that we're going to release early 2023.
Well, that's a lot on your plate.
Yeah,
But
as you can see, we have like a lot of things running behind me. We have the chance to be three in the team and to be very dynamic, and a lot of people are calling us to create projects. So it's really nice, and we like to have time to get ideas.
yeah, actually, it's quite convenient to be three. And how do you split the task? I'm wondering, do you have expertise? Each of you has their field.
Yeah, I would say that on all the artistic choices, the three of us are together, and we do not split the tasks. I mean, a project from Obvious is always a project where the three of us said go, go, go in terms of artistic message. But of course, I mean, I do a lot of English mistakes and French mistakes when I'm writing and speaking. So Gauthier wrote, and I do not wrote anything. So of course we have our small tasks. For example, I do the social networks on Instagram, and Hugo do the Twitters. I do some Hugo Gauthier do the contracts. So on the entrepreneurship part, we try to split the thing to be effective. But in terms of artistic choices, we are all of the three of us together.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Pierre, for your time today. We are super excited to have you on laCollection, have this first drop on art and currency, and we really hope to do more.
Thank you so much for inviting me to talk today, and we hope the drop gonna go well. And you are, if you want to follow our journey, please come on Instagram, obvious_art.